Theme Party the Podcast, Episode 3, Firsts and Last, by Nedda Elsayed.
We met at the game store. You noticed me first, and we ended up playing at the same table. You've told me my scarf caught your attention, but my looks kept it. We didn't exchange numbers. Unfortunately, I had to step away from D&D to study for an exam. I distinctly remember the look of confusion on your face when I said goodbye to the group, explaining why I'd be gone. One day, I was gushing about Critical Role in the Game Shop's Discord server when you asked to message me directly. We hit it off right away. You gave me a reason to laugh every day. I was in a dark place, processing my dad's death while also sorting out his estate, all while dealing with keeping an estranged family at arm's length. On the first night I returned to D&D, still reeling from everything that was happening and unsure of my test results, you surprised me by asking me out. Of course, I said yes. For our first date, we had hot pot. I splashed broth on your white and black shirts. I'm such a klutz. You must not have minded, though. We spent 5 hours together, and somehow it felt like no time at all. For our second date, you tried to teach me how to longboard. I had never tried anything like it before. Our biggest mistake was starting out on a slope. You held my hand, trying to guide me, but I still ended up flat on my back, laughing while you chased down the board. On the third date, we went to your house. I'd never been alone with a guy at his place before, and I was so nervous I vomited up the sandwich I'd had for dinner. You never made me feel bad about it, though. In fact, you had an entire game plan for how to make me comfortable and more open on our dates. You explained that it was things like sitting against the wall at D&D so I didn't feel trapped. Actively building up the relationship through Discord first, so it didn't feel like you were a stranger when we met up again. Creating situations where holding hands wouldn't be awkward, like longboarding. The amount of thought you had put towards me was unbelievably flattering. We had our traditions. Once a month, we'd have game night with your friends from high school, though we usually ended up doing more talking than playing, much to our chagrin. With all of our busy lives, we even scheduled a night each month to watch TV together. Whatever the hot new show was, our group devoured it. Eventually, we started a yearly tradition. Of course, you got put on the spot to give this event a name. The annual bonfire. So silly. Everyone had a blast and all enjoyed the s'mores. And since I remembered to pick up the halal marshmallows, I did too. During the summer, we would go boating with my family friends. I had been trying to wake surf all season, but I still couldn't get up on the board. Of course you got up on the first try. I was so impressed and so proud. It was the perfect thing to show off to everyone. We'd go hiking, just the two of us. You'd turn it into a marathon, running me ragged, Mr. Guy that did cross country in high school. You always pushed me to do more than I believed I could. To celebrate you getting a new car, I arranged a national park weekend trip for just us two. We experienced all 4 seasons in those few days. Driving up, we roasted from the heat despite the air conditioning. Luckily, we found a little waterfall to splash around in. The next day, we drove 100 miles east where we hiked through 10 feet of snow to see the sulfuric hot springs. Okay, I trudged. You breezed right through. On the day we headed back, it was deliciously cool. We got a tour of some amazing caverns. After we got home, you surprised me with a thank you. You hugged me from behind. A simple gesture that I had mentioned before felt extra nice to me. Still using that game plan from when we first met. During the winter months, we loved to snowboard. I'll never forget when you took me to Tahoe to see snow for the first time. Wow. It was so magical. and felt so surreal. It felt that way every time we visited. Every year, I urged you to enjoy the more difficult slopes while I worked on the greens and blues. You would join me afterwards. After 3 seasons of you patiently teaching me, I finally felt like a real snowboarder. Until I fell and broke my arm. It was strange to see you so unsure of what to do. I had to tell you how to get help. At the hospital, you were back to your usual self, cracking jokes and distracting me from the pain. We got to see what it would be like to live together for the next 3 weeks as you took care of me at your place. I relied on you for basic things like getting around and feeding us, even though you could not cook. Despite all the extra work I made for you, you confessed that it was nice having me around. When you're with someone for a long time, you'll eventually develop some holiday traditions. We loved Halloween, but after handing out candy for several years, we decided to go out with your friends for a change. We dressed up as Star Wars characters, but I went as Han Solo and you went as Slave Princess Leia. That night, you were the center of attention every time we walked into a new bar. The reactions alone made it worth for you to freeze your butt off. The holiday season is busy, so of course your friend group arranged an annual tradition of a get-together combining Thanksgiving and Christmas. Thanksgiving, miss. It was potluck. Oh, and one year, my mom helped by making lentil soup for everyone and I made Egyptian goulash at your place. It's a deliciously layered buttered filet dough with cheese and ground beef sandwiched in the middle. Unfortunately, it wasn't very crispy. I used too much ghee. Whoops. It didn't matter though, everyone loved it. The kitchen was one of the places where I could happily outshine you. That same year, for the white elephant gift exchange portion of the evening, you were able to outdo me once again. I went way overboard with my gift. I added too many things, and nobody could decide if they wanted it all or not. You went with the targeted approach of finding a personalized gift for a friend that they couldn't resist. Last year, Christmas time meant driving to your parents' place each day. On Christmas Eve, we wrapped presents with the insane amount of wrapping paper your mom has, some of it even older than you. Breakfast on Christmas Day was sausage and gravy on homemade biscuits. Since I don't eat pork, you thoughtfully asked what I would like instead, and made me some over-easy eggs. Afterwards, I worked on a puzzle with your family. You wouldn't. Since you're colorblind, puzzles are annoying to you. One thing I wish we could have done together would be to celebrate Ramadan. I wouldn't make you fast, but you'd have to listen to me complain of wanting to eat this or drink that, fantasizing about what tonight's meal would be and planning for the next. I would definitely want kofta burgers and fries. I would have to be the grill master. Again, since you're colorblind, you would have a hard time telling when the burgers were done. But you'd be my sous chef, doing all the chopping because apparently I can't cut something without also cutting myself. As part of the holiday, I'd drag you to visit my family. You'd promise to not go with my brother too much. My niece would be happy to see you. You've had a soft spot for her ever since she called you a princess when we first met. You were always willing to spend time with my family. Even if there seemed to be an invisible wall between you and them. Since they aren't a national holiday, if Eid al-Fitr or Eid al-Adha fell on a weekday, getting together with family and family friends would have to be put off until the weekend. Those get-togethers would always be a potluck. Mom would make everyone different types of Egyptian-style mahshi. Different kind of rolls stuffed with herbed rice, cabbage, grape leaves with added lemon, and veggies like bell peppers, zucchini, and eggplant with herbed rice. You would have an easier time mingling because the house would be full of people. You know how to motivate me. The only reason I'm comfortable in the water is because you taught me how to swim. You know how to calm me down when I'm anxious. You're the reason I passed an important exam to get into school. You know how to get me to smile and laugh. You would go the extra mile to bring joy to my day. You put so much emphasis on my happiness. Those are some of the things we would have done for the rest of our lives. I hate the circumstance we're in. There's deep love and friendship, but because of who we are, these traditions we made together, and the ones we haven't even begun, will never be more than what they are now. You fear your love will turn into resentment if you say the words I need you to say. Our union would be based on a lie because you'd be like me on the surface, but not any deeper. Fearing you wouldn't be the man I deserve if you didn't fully believe. I've told you, I don't need that from you. I know who and what you are, and I accept it. But you know I cannot marry someone who isn't Muslim. You were so cold when I asked you one last time to take a leap of faith. I understand your reasoning, and I can't be angry with you. In this one most important thing, I wasn't enough for you to make the effort. I can't wait for you anymore, and you don't want me to wait, despite you starting to look into it. I hate that you making the choice appears easy, even if it isn't. It sucks. It sucks so much. It's not your fault. It's no one's fault. I don't want someone who feels like they're being coerced to be with me. We both deserve to be with someone who wants us fully. While we'll always be in each other's lives, I must hold my best friend at a distance and eventually create new traditions without you.
Firsts and Last was written by Nedda Elsayed and Merete Mohs, starring Nedda Elsayed as the narrator. This episode of Theme Party the Podcast was directed by Jordan Autumn Kalina. Sound design and engineering by Jamie Lewis, with additional music credits in the show notes. Production coordination by Merete Mohs. Story development by Alyssa Esteban. The theme song for Theme Party the Podcast was composed by Bad Machine. Episode art by Alyssa Esteban. This episode was produced by Nedda Elsayed. The executive producer and host of Theme Party the Podcast is Merete Mohs. If you've enjoyed this episode, please consider supporting us on Patreon by visiting patreon.com/lengthytangent. Learn more about this episode and all of our shows at lengthytangent.com and follow us on social media. Our theme for this season has been Family Traditions. I've been Merete Mohs, and this has been Theme Party the Podcast.
We'll just edit that part out. Lengthy tangent.